She's about half the book of Exodus before she died.
We'll be like Moses leading the Israelites trying to hold back the mighty falls of the Red Sea.
Let's try Exodus.
Shalom, everyone. Welcome back to a journey through one of the most exciting books in the Bible, the book of Exodus. Let's explore its rich stories, powerful lessons, and how it connects our lives as believers today. When you think of the book of Exodus, what comes to mind? Maybe it's the iconic burning bush, a baby in a basket floating down the Nile, or even Charlton Heston raising his staff in the Ten Commandments movie. For others, it might be the animated scenes from The Prince of Egypt. While these moments are memorable, there's so much more to this incredible story than the snapshots we often think of. Exodus is more than just an ancient story. It's a foundational part of God's plan to redeem humanity and restore His creation. It reveals God's heart for liberation, His desire for a covenant relationship with His people, and His ultimate purpose of bringing life and blessing to the world. It's a story of liberation, covenant, and God's enduring promise to bring light into darkness. And guess what? It's not just Israel's story. It's part of Yeshua's story. And as believers, it's part of our story too. Let's dive into the big themes and movements of Exodus to see how this epic narrative unfolds. Exodus begins with the Israelites in Egypt, flourishing and multiplying as God intended. Pharaoh, however, sees their growth as a threat to his power. His response? Brutal oppression and slavery, even to the point of ordering the murder of Israelite baby boys. Yet in the midst of this darkness, God's promise shines. God's mission to bless humanity, to make them fruitful and alive, directly conflicts with Pharaoh's mission to control and consume. The clash escalates until God declares, "Enough is enough." He hears the cries of His people and acts to deliver them. This first movement crescendos with Moses, the baby in the basket, who grows up to become God's chosen leader. With God's help, Moses confronts Pharaoh, delivering the famous line, "Let my people go." Pharaoh resists, leading to the dramatic showdown of the 10 plagues. Each plague demonstrates God's power over Pharaoh and the Egyptian gods. The climax comes at the Red Sea. Trapped between Pharaoh's army and the sea, the Israelites seem doomed. But God parts the waters, creating a path to freedom. Once safely across, the sea closes, defeating Pharaoh's forces. The Israelites celebrate with a song of praise, led by Miriam, recounting God's miraculous deliverance. The second movement takes us to Mount Sinai, where God invites Israel into a covenant relationship. Here, God offers them a profound identity, a kingdom, a priest, and a holy nation. It's in Exodus 19:6. They're called to be representatives of God's light and blessing to the world. This covenant comes with responsibilities outlined in the Ten Commandments and other laws. It's an invitation to live in alignment with God's ways, reflecting His character to the nations. The scene at Sinai is awe-inspiring. Thunder, lightning, and God's voice booming from the mountain. It's clear that this is no ordinary moment. In the final movement, God gives instruction for building the tabernacle, a sacred space where His presence can dwell among His people. It's like a portable Eden, a place of peace and connection with God. But while Moses is on the mountain receiving these instructions, the people below falter. They create a golden calf, breaking the covenant almost immediately. God's anger burns, but Moses intercedes, appealing to God's character and promises. God forgives them and renews the covenant. The tabernacle is eventually completed, and God's glory fills it. Yet, the scroll ends on a cliffhanger. Moses cannot enter the tabernacle. It's a stark reminder that sin still separates humanity from God. Exodus is a story of contrast. Pharaoh's oppression versus God's liberation. Human sin versus divine faithfulness. It shows us that God is committed to rescuing His people, confronting evil, and restoring the blessing of Eden. However, it also highlights the persistent problem of sin and humanity's tendency to stray from God. This scroll, this book, points forward to the ultimate resolution in Yeshua, who fulfills the promise of Exodus by offering a way to fully reconcile humanity with God. Through Yeshua, we are invited into the same covenant relationship, to be free, alive, and part of God's mission to bring life and blessing to the world. So, what can we take away from Exodus? It's a call to trust in God's faithfulness, to live as His representatives, and to remember that His presence is with us, guiding us towards the ultimate promised land. We'll have to check out the Leviticus scroll to see what happens next. Thank you for joining me here today, my friends and family. And until next time, Shalom, Shalom.